Yeah, back on the hot seat with Dr. Eve this morning. We asked, is it okay to keep secrets from your partner? And in fact, you on the street, we asked you, if you have a secret from the past, would you tell your partner?
Honestly speaking, I think I would let them know about it. And whatever happens from there happens. I mean, if we do go on from there, it's definitely meant to be. If we don't, then it wasn't meant to be.
I would have to tell my partner sometime, because I think keeping it longer might be a problem, because somebody else might eventually tell him before I get to tell him. So I think it's just better if it comes from me then. I mean, it's in my past. I wasn't with him at the time when it happened. So yeah, I think I'd be able to tell him.
I don't know, it doesn't really concern them. It's in the past, so we're in the present now, so it's really none of their business. So long as it isn't a reoccurring thing that keeps happening, I don't think they need to know.
If you have a big secret from your past, I think it is a good idea for the other person's well-being to tell them the secret, even if it could potentially end the relationship, because it's not really nice to have the other person in the dark and, you know, and you're on this other side feeling guilty as well about what you could say, or, you know.
Very interesting answers indeed. In fact, the answer from the gentleman with the black cap leads one to ask the question that if it is in the past, is it relevant, Dr. E?
Yes, so there are a few things that are really relevant that you have to tell. Criminal record, financial debt, addictions. If you've been in an abusive relationship, and I'm kind of hesitant around that, and we can come back to that because that's really private as well, or had childhood sexual abuse. And if you are currently married, and if you have a child somewhere, those are things that you really have to disclose. And if you can't, you really want to wonder, why is it that I can't share it with this person?
Yeah.
And you may not be able to be in a relationship until you've sorted out and come to accept that these are secrets and you shouldn't have shame around them, but be able to disclose it to a partner who you feel safe with.
Are there certain kind of secrets
Yes.
or kinds of secrets from the past that can just be let be?
Yes. I think that some things that have a different, if I'm in a relationship, if I get into a relationship with you and I have a certain morality or value system, say for example around termination of pregnancy, and I know that I had a termination of pregnancy when I was 18 years old, and I know that you have a very strong opinion around termination because you're very pro-choice and pro-life, and I would think twice about, do I want to tell you that? Because that was something that I did, because I'm also pro-life. I have the same ideology as you. But actually, this was something that I needed to do when I was 18 years old, and you may be really judging that. Do I want to talk to you about that? Is it going to have an impact? And then you think, well, no, because it might put you against me. But then you go and you have a baby together. And the nurse walks in and says to you, so tell me, because this is very necessary information, tell me about a previous pregnancy you had.
Yeah.
And then you in a quandary, because you don't want to tell you, because it might get you to judge me, because I've had that when I needed to have when I was 18. What do you do? Because for health reasons, I really have to disclose at that point of time that this actually is my second pregnancy. So these are really difficult situations that you have to think about. And mostly, Katlego, you have to be in a relationship where you're going to feel safe to talk about those kind of things.
I want to ask, what if that secret doesn't come from you, it comes from someone else? It slips out in the conversation. What do you do?
Exactly right. So that's why the longer you keep the secret, the more at risk that you are. And we have to differentiate between privacy. So you want to say to somebody, you know, this is something that happened to me in the past. I don't think it's really relevant. And the detail of it isn't really relevant. So, for example, I have had partners in the past, and you say, how many have you had? You know, I don't think that's really relevant.
Do you really? The question is, do you really want to know that?
Exactly. Do you really want to know that? And why is it that you really want to know? Is it going to be useful for you? But the other big things, like the criminal records, financial debt, that's a big thing. People get into a relationship and they don't know that there's debt.
All right. Well, our lines remain open for one more chat with Dr. Eve. It's 083-913-3728. Secrets in relationships. Whoa. Listen, what is not a secret, though, is that we make delicious food in the kitchen. Zola, hi.